Welcome to the Leading Hope Podcast with Kevin Jack. Your influence will lead people somewhere, lead them towards hope. Everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.
Welcome to Leading Hope with Kevin Jack. I'm your host, VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. We release a new episode every Wednesday, so we'd love for you to share on social media, bring others along with us on this journey of becoming a better leader. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it'd mean the world to us if you did that now. Also post about it, rate and review. You will not believe how that helps get this hand in the podcast or in the hands of more leaders like you. And today we are in episode 68. Man, I'm excited. The 3 sides of clarity, Kevin.
I'm excited for today. This is our second going live Wednesday at 11:30 episode, and it will be released to everyone if you want to catch up on whatever your podcast streaming service is by Thursday morning.
Thursday morning.
Do you have a time that this goes out
It
by?
goes out like 5 a.m.
5 a.m. So I know all of you who weren't able to watch live are sitting there at like 4:58 a.m. actively waiting for this to come through. So today, the 3 sides of clarity. Here's my goal for today is I want to prep you for something and call you to something, because you may have gotten advice that was accurate but didn't fully explain what you were about to jump into, but then also to set a really high standard. And so as we go throughout the content for today, you're going to go, oh, yeah, this is good. And then you're going to go, oh, no, this is bad. And then hopefully by the end, you'll say, oh, I absolutely have to do this. So today, the idea is the 3 sides of clarity. And one of the mantras we live by for our staff here at Be Hope Church, and we've got it up on the walls a couple different places, actually comes as a quote from Brene Brown, and the quote is, "Clear is kind." Clear is kind. It is not kind to be vague. It is not kind as a desire to help, we have a tendency in order to help someone's emotions to be very vague. We don't want to be mean. We don't want to come across as harsh. And so the statement that we live by is clear is kind. So here's side 1. Indeed, clear is kind. That is accurate. Clear is kind. To be clear with someone on the role that they're doing, good or bad. To be clear with someone about your desire for the future of the relationship that you're in is a good thing. Whether that's good or bad, whether that's a forever or it's a, hey, we should have ended this a couple months ago,
Yeah.
Just so you know. Clear is kind. And we get such a mentality and such a thought that we want to be nice to people and we want to be liked by people, that clarity suffers in the process. And I can tell you, we had a situation both of us dealt with recently of an organization that we highly respect, had someone enter into it, go into training on it with no anticipation of allowing that person to step into leadership in any way. And then after a year of training and development, they were told that they would not be a leader.
Yes.
Which was the intention and plan all along, and the person was crushed.
Yeah.
And the position of the leadership was, oh, we're doing a nice thing by letting him go through it. His perspective was, I wish you would have told me that on the front end.
Yeah.
Like, I wish you would have just let me know. And so we just fall into that. And I think so often, if you're a manager, if you're a boss, if you're a team leader in any way, your opinion of the role that your team is doing, the job they're doing, the quality of the work is often very different from how they perceive your opinion. And it's amazing because I get to talk to a lot of pastors. I get to talk to a lot of managers and interact with them. And sometimes I'll interact with their team members and staff in different levels. And it's just night and day. Like the boss team leader saying one thing, the team's going, oh yeah, I think we're great. I think things are good. And I'm thinking, someone isn't being clear.
Yeah.
And to say, hey, clear is kind. Letting someone know the job that they're doing, good or bad, the future of the relationship, the future of the work, that is the kindest thing you could do for them. Don't be vague. But also, this is really important, don't be ruthless. Like, the need for clarity is not a need to let all your emotions spill out in the moment. You can be clear and factual and direct in your statements without cutting someone down. So that's side one. Clear is kind. For some of you, you just may need to pause on that, and you may need to go, oh, the reason why this thing isn't going well, why I'm always frustrated, is because we're not viewing this issue or this person or this problem through the same lens. So, side one, clear is kind. Side two, we're talking about the 3 sides of clarity. Side two, clear will ruffle feathers, okay? Clear will upset the status quo. No one wants to hear you're not cutting it right now. No one wants to hear initially like, hey, this is not going well. This relationship isn't working out. I don't like the future within which this is headed. And so I just think we have such a dynamic within there of knowing, yes, clear is kind. It is the best thing you could do for the person. It is absolutely the best thing you could do. But do not expect that clarity to be met with kindness back all the time. And so, what happens when you give someone the conversation of, you're not living up to the role, we're not headed the direction that we need to head, we don't stand for that, it will not be met with excitement.
Yeah.
It absolutely will not be met with excitement. We face this tendency and this temptation as a church because we love people. Like, it's kind of in the DNA of the church. Yeah. If it's not in the DNA, go be something else. You're not a church. But we do. We love people. But everyone comes into a church with an expectation as to what the church is going to be. And the easiest thing to do would be to respond and to just go, oh, yeah, we'll be that. Well, do you stand? Yeah. Do you believe this? Absolutely. Could we do this in the future? Sure. Even though you don't believe that, you don't stand for that. And no way on earth are you going to allow that thing to happen in the future.
That's good.
And you're not being kind by telling them in the front end, yes, absolutely, this church will fulfill all your wishes, dreams, hopes, and aspirations, and we will do whatever you want possibly, because it has no intention of being that. And so we just acknowledge, hey, the best thing we could do is to be clear on the front end, but that is not the easiest thing to do. It is much easier to want to be liked and desire simply to appear as nice. And so we have to have hard conversations and go, no, we actually don't believe that. And here's why you may believe that, and here's why that may be okay. Here's where we may think that's wrong. No, we don't stand for that. And sometimes we have to go, no, we're never going to do that.
Yeah.
That's awesome that old church that you went to, that you left, did that, and you want to recreate in this new church, the church that you just left. Sorry, that's a pet peeve of mine. I know you shouldn't have pet peeves within there. I heard someone say the other day, you shouldn't have peeves as pets. They make terrible pets. They're not housebroken.
True story.
They're just
True
awful.
Story.
There you go. People want to turn the church that they came to into the church that they just left, even though they just left it. That's another podcast for another day that we'll get to at some point.
Next week.
No, not next week. So we need to acknowledge side 2. Clear will ruffle feathers. But here is side 3. And this is where you've kind of gone on the, oh, yeah, I need to do that. Clear is kind. Oh, I don't want to do that. Clear will ruffle feathers. I want to be liked. I want to be nice. But this is why that's so important. Side 3 is clarity is the only thing that can invoke passion. Clarity is the only thing that can invoke, can cultivate, can create passion. People do not get excited about a general direction. They get excited about a specific destination. Vague never inspires. Only clarity does. So part of our clarity as a church is we say we want to shape your heart, not just feed your intellect. That for some churches, what they'll do is they'll have you run from class to class to class to class, never actually living out the kingdom of God in your life, never building the kingdom that we're called to build, because it's so much easier to run you from class to class to class to class, and you feel like, oh, I've learned so much, but you haven't done anything. And so as a church, one of the things that we're really clear on is we don't offer a ton of classes. We don't have a bunch of things. We want you to live this out in your life. Like, we've got this crazy idea that when Jesus said, follow me, he actually meant it. Like he meant like, follow me. Don't just learn about me. He's like, follow me. Do what I do.
Yeah.
That was what it was supposed to be. And so we have to be clear with people on the front end. And I laugh about this because one of my best opportunities to cast vision is through our weekend worship services. Just say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're about. And I'll just say it like this. I make myself laugh all the time. Because so often in messages, I just imagine these statements that I'm making, if they fit as taglines for our church or marketing slogans, like, come to Be Hope Church, where we expect you to serve as quick as possible. Come to Be Hope Church, where the music isn't about you, and we're not really concerned whether you like it or not, because it's not about you. Come to Be Hope Church, where as soon as you've been here for a little while, our mission is no longer about you, and you're now supposed to participate in it and bring others to faith. You go, hey, but there's a part of that. So for some people, they go, I'm not in. I want a church that cultivates to my desires, my tastes, and my interests. But for other people, it invokes passion. I had a conversation with a guy the other day. He'd been coming for a little while, just started serving, and we were doing a crazy thing on Super Bowl weekend. And I just walked up to him and I said hi, and he was letting me know it was his first week serving. I was like, awesome. What do you think? How's it going? And his response was, we're using a cultural thing to bring people to faith in a fresh and creative way so that they'll hear the gospel. I'm all in. I just gave him a hug.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, that's it. That's it to a T. And that there will be some people who are turned off by that, but there will be other people who will become passionate about that. So if you're not clear, everyone will like you, everyone will be apathetic, and everyone will be fine until there's a crisis. If you are clear, you will create discontent and frustration, but you have the opportunity to help shape the world. You will attract loads of criticism, but you'll also give people something to live for. Clear is kind. It won't always be received with kindness, but it's the only thing that can invoke passion in someone's life.
Clear is kind. Man, I tell you. So if you're watching for the first time, maybe you're watching for the first time or watching this back for the first time, just to give you kind of a download now that we're doing this live as a recap as to what happens, Kevin will give the content and then we will ask questions. So if you're watching right now, you get that opportunity to maybe ask a question or two. There's some of that's going on. So you have that opportunity right now. Put it in the chat right now, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. But the first thing I wanted to start off with is the clearest kind, because, I mean, it's such an obvious statement, but it's a statement that seems to just be a hard thing for everyone to wrap their mind around. Because we both know people that are believe clearest kind, meaning being bluntly truth in a moment, and it becomes almost personal.
Yeah.
Right? Which that's not clearest kind, is not to just make it personal. It's to be factual in the situation. And then we have other people who beat around the bush. Mm-hmm. How do we hate the word balance, but how do we balance that?
Yeah, I think the issue is an issue of motivation. Am I giving you this feedback for my benefit?
Oh.
Or am I giving you this feedback for your benefit? Because if I'm just frustrated and I want my world to be better, I'm going to pull my punches because I'm constantly balancing the future I want to create and my desire for you to like me. And let's just be clear, like, if you love giving hard feedback, you're a sociopath. Okay, could we just say it like that? Like, if you're just like, yeah, this is awesome, I can't wait to have this conversation. Because it's hard. Like, It's always hard. But if your motivation becomes, hey, I want what's best for you. And here's the reality. Is like, let's say you interact on a team and you don't communicate well with team members. My guess is it's not only at work that you struggle with communication. It's in your marriage, it's with your family, it's with your friends, it's with people you've known it's in your neighborhood. Like, there are not isolated character issues.
Yeah.
There are not isolated, like, poor people skills issues. They spread to every area of our life. And so if I can sit across from you and go, I want what's best for you, it ensures that I am willing to give the feedback in a way that is most helpful for you because I want what's best for you.
Yeah, I agree. I think, too, obviously, ruffling feathers is not the desired response. It's just being aware of it will at least help you get into the conversation quicker instead of just letting it linger on.
Well, and if all you have ever heard is clear as kind, what you're going to do is you're going to walk into a meeting, a review, you're going to give some difficult feedback, and you're going to be shocked when the other person's upset.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, don't be shocked, because know what's on the other side. It's worth it.
Yeah, and I think, so here, let's take this question just a little bit different, because I know that you've studied and you know a lot of different organizations who may have not practiced clear as kind, and there's no names.
I'm nervous about what you're going to ask.
No, there's just no names. I mean, at the end of the day, if you allow things to continue without being clear, right, and knowing that up front, talk about some of the things you see erode over time in your organization.
I mean, the first one that is most obvious is passion. Like passion just, it erodes quickly on that. The other things is the mission, the alignment to the mission, because if you're going to fulfill a mission and accomplish your vision, the address of the destination that you want to go, the reality is there's certain things you can't do. Your vision should be exclusive. And so you sacrifice passion, you sacrifice impact. The other thing as a leader, if we just be clear, like I want to create a culture that I want to work in.
Yeah.
Not a culture that just pushes me up. I want to create a culture that I want to step into. And so if you as a leader are hating the work that you're walking into, you have no one to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
Craig Rochelle said it years ago like this. He says, your culture is the sum total of what you reward and what you tolerate.
That's great.
And so you're either not rewarding the right things or you're tolerating the wrong things. And so there's just like so much on this of saying, hey, the way we get better is feedback. Like, the statement is, people always said for years, practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
No. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
That's really got you.
Thank you.
Just all.
That's what it was. Yeah, I've heard that so many times in my life. Practice makes perfect, right?
But the sense of like, if we keep doing the wrong things, if you have bad habits in meetings, if you have bad habits in conversations, if you have bad habits in execution, by not addressing them, you're just more firmly embedding them in who the person is.
Yeah, and I think that gets missed so many times in leadership circles and organizations over time. And when we're doing reviews, when we're doing one-on-ones, when we're doing whatever we're doing to help someone see that the next step, we don't realize that that's what we're doing in the midst of it. The other thing you said I thought was really intriguing and actually very true is you said vague never inspires.
Yeah.
Talk more about that, because man, it's not going to work for a leader to walk into a room and say, you just need to do better.
Even though
just need to do
that
better.
may be exactly how you feel in that moment.
And it's true, and it's probably true.
Yeah.
But it doesn't inspire.
Yeah.
So talk about that.
So as we look at what inspires is not what is wrong. What inspires is what could be right. And so let's say it like this. If you walk in to someone's work, if you walk into someone and you just say, you are perfect. You're just the best. You do so good. What's going to happen is that's actually demotivating. And I know that sounds ridiculous because no one's like, you go, no, I would love to hear that. You would.
Yeah.
But it means you have nowhere to grow.
Yeah.
And growth is part of our joy. Like, that's just the reality. We are enthusiastic, not about reaching levels. We are enthusiastic about taking steps.
That's great.
That's what's exciting, is about continuing to move forward. And so even if you felt that way, to walk into someone and just go, man, it's just all great. Just go. The person within a month is going to go, I got nowhere to go. I've got nowhere to grow. I'm stuck here. And so no matter where someone is, being clear, not on what's wrong. So I'm saying all that as an illustration to get to this point. When you address something with someone, you don't simply show them what is wrong. You show them what could be right. And that's the exciting part. It's not address, you do this and this and this poorly. It's, hey, these are the things you need to work on, and this is where they need to become, and this is the impact that will make once you address that.
That's great. Hey, we're about ready to wrap this up. Before we do, I want to say hi to our friend all the way in Pakistan, Simon.
Hi,
John,
Simon.
And we want to say hi to Troy, who's watching all the way in Eastern
Flanek.
Ohio. Abby's on, and then we also have Donna Sanchez. So glad that you guys joined us today. Let us know if you have any questions.
And your wife is watching. It doesn't appear my wife is watching.
Well,
but
hey, Melanie
that's
Jo.
fine. That's
She's
okay.
going to kill me that I said that. But hey, listen, wrap up this episode 68, the 3 sides of clarity for us.
Yeah, I want you to know what you're stepping into on clear. I don't want you to be ruthless, okay? Don't be ruthless. There's no excuse for treating people without dignity. Don't be ruthless, but don't be vague, because only clear can inspire passion.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for joining us today. If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it'd mean the world to us if you did that now. Also, post about it, rate and review, and now you can share it right here live. And we'll try to go look back at some of those comments too and answer any questions that you have. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders just like you. And we love hearing your stories of how the podcast is working in your life and business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.